Whenever I started the company, I wanted to give back in some way. And to me, cancer was the way to give back. I wanted to give back to a foundation. And I knew, without even thinking about it, that I was going to find a way to donate to the Team Corrie Foundation. I messaged Miss Gross to kind of tell her what I was thinking, and this was still in my house at that point, but I wanted to get it out there. And of course, you know, Ms. Gross was interested in that, and I've always had that kind of in the back of my mind.
My family has had more experience dealing with cancer than most families ever have and ever should have. My oldest daughter, Christy, is a 4-time cancer survivor. She fought bone cancer twice as a teenager, and then as an adult she had thyroid cancer, and in 2010 she had breast cancer, and she had to fight breast cancer, and she survived that. In 2011, we were really shocked when her husband came down with thyroid cancer, and it happened to be the same type of thyroid cancer that she had had a few years earlier. And he, went through the treatment for thyroid cancer, and he survived the thyroid cancer. Then the very next year, in 2012, our youngest daughter, Corrie, developed breast cancer. And that was quite a shock to all of us. We never expected Corrie to have any kind of cancer. We had dealt with Christy for years and years and years, but we never thought it would be Corrie. At the time, Corrie had graduated from college. She was a speech pathologist, and she worked with children, and she'd married her high school sweetheart, Trey. And in 2010, Corrie had her first child, which was Sloan, the little girl, and then they had Rob 2 years later in 2012. And after she had Rob, or while she was pregnant with Rob, Corrie complained about her back all the time. She was just always saying how bad her back hurt. And well, we didn't think much of it because a lot of women have back problems when they're carrying. Her doctor said the same thing. She said, well, it's because you're pregnant and you're carrying a baby. But after she had Rob, she kept complaining and the pain kept getting worse. And so she finally had some scans done, and when the scan results came back, the doctor came in and handed them to me and said, read them, and I read them aloud, and as I was reading it, the report, it said, I looked up and I said, she has cancer? And she said, yes, she has cancer. And at that time, the report said it was in her bones, it was in her skull, it was in her arms, it was in her legs, it was in her spine, which was causing all the pain that she was having with her back for the last several months. And it was in her liver. 80% of her liver was filled with cancer. It was in her chest. And when I read it, we just went into total shock. We thought, we just couldn't believe this was happening. None of us could believe it. But Corrie was a very strong individual. She loved her babies, she loved her husband, she loved her family, and she was determined that she was going to survive this, just like her big sister Christy had done, 4 different times. And so she began to take the chemo and the radiation and anything, that they threw at her. She was going to do it to survive this. When we got this news, Rob, her baby, was 2 months old, and Sloan was 2 years old. And the first year, it was very difficult. She got very sick from the treatments, and she could no longer work. And I moved in with her, and my granddaughter moved in to help care for the children. Things began to look a little better, though. The doctor said that the tumor seemed to be shrinking, and so we had a lot of hope that she was going to make it through this. But then the second year, they did some scans, and the doctor came in and he said, well, I have good news and I have bad news. And he said the good news is some of the tumors are still shrinking in your bones. But he said the bad news is you have some tumors in your brain now. And when he said that, we all just deflated. And so when we thought about all the support that she'd been given during her fight, we want to do the same thing for other cancer patients. So my family got together and we decided after she died that we wanted to form a nonprofit corporation that would give grants to people in Union County to help them with their medical expenses as they too fought cancer. And so we came up with the Team Corrie Cancer Foundation. When we set up the Team Corrie Cancer Foundation in the beginning, we weren't sure how much money we were going to be able to raise. We weren't sure how many people would even want a grant. So in the beginning, we only started with $500 grants until we could get a better picture of what the demand was going to be for grants. And we gave a few $500 grants, but in the meantime, the community, when they heard of what we were doing, we just got a tremendous amount of support from everywhere, and people started sending donations and doing fundraisers for us. So after just a few $500 grants, we saw that we were going to be able to raise the amount of the grants to $1,000, and so that's what we're giving now. We give $1,000 grants to people residing in Union County who are fighting cancer of any kind. It doesn't matter what kind of cancer it is.
You know, a lot of people will donate to causes, and a lot of people have donated to the Team Corrie Foundation, even recurring donations, and that's how they're able to send out the checks that they send out. But, you know, I do think that having a product that people can buy without, necessarily making an extra donation, this puts something physical in their hand. It's also a reminder every time that they use it of the people who are suffering with cancer and the people that they're helping.
I've always been very proud of Seth. I was proud of him when he became a teacher, and I was proud of him when he started his business. He texted me one night a few years ago, and he said, when this, if I can get this business going and make it successful, I want to do something to give back. And now it has become a reality, what he wanted to do for us. And the Calabasas Breeze is going to be my dream come true too.